Hey guys, welcome back. So the market hasn't fully closed yet, so I'm recording this as like a late day market review, and I'll just keep the numbers approximate, but I think the story of the day is already pretty clear. So all the indexes are pretty much higher. The SPY's going up, QQQ, IWM, maybe a little bit less so, although that cooling off first signifies a little something to me. But the Dow. Okay. Anyway, overall tone, risk is still with us, and we're pumping into the close. And I'm actually waiting for the market on close to see, because yesterday and the day before it was pretty big volume to the downside, to the sell side. So anyway, it hasn't closed yet, but the indexes are higher, and in particular, software is blasting again. Love to see it. Microsoft, ServiceNow, companies we were talking about yesterday, and they're having huge days. So under the surface, it's not a simple everything up market. Some things were taking a little bit of a pullback, but it's a very specific kind of tape to me. Tech leadership, software re-rating, energy lower, defensives weak, small caps lagging, and a few monster single name moves. I mean, like, serious. We were talking about yesterday. I was like 400 delta long on Now, and the same with Microsoft. And I've since trimmed a lot of it, but we'll go through some of the holdings that I had in my book. And with that being said, it's not financial advice. This is just how I'm reviewing the market and my own book. So today will be more of a recap in general, and I won't go through any full trade architecture in the AlphaHarmonic Trade app. But yeah, the index is, like I said, green up on the SPY, QQQ's up, Dow up, IWM holding up pretty well. It's down, I guess, 0.6%, but it did hold up pretty well. It's bull flagging to me. So yeah, that's the indexes there. But let's talk about the big market driver. Today the macro backdrop is still being helped by the geopolitical relief. So there's just tons of stuff going on today. But that being said, and maybe we can get into the SPY and some of my particular trades, I'm noticing this. It's hard to see. I have a lot of pivot points on my charts here, but the RSI, when I see these types of bearish divergence on the RSI, they almost never play out when I think they are, but I start getting a little protection. So today I bought myself, what did I get? I think I got a 140-day 740 put, and it's not a spread because the VIX is at 15.27, so I'm getting a really great price, and I just want a little bit of long-term protection here, because you see I'm running quite a massive book. I don't want to show you my total account, but you can see that I have a lot of exposure. A few other hedges, but we'll go through that there too. So anyway, geopolitical relief, the SPY is looking good, all things considered. And some of these huge companies are up big today. So, and you can see USO is down. I think it was down like 2%, something like that, 1.7 at the moment. So, that really helps, of course. That's been one of those big inflation risk variables. So yeah, that easing helped a lot of stuff, kind of like yesterday, same kind of macro story. And you can see I have a super trend here on the daily, and we're starting to maybe pull back just a little bit, maybe not, because who knows what's going to happen over the weekend. But that being said, let's look at the true stars today. So software, IGV, this is so bullish to me. If we close like that, if we pierce through, the only thing better is if that happened overnight and we opened with that kind of huge bull candle. Look at that thing. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more about some of the specific holdings in there. Snowflake. See, that's what I was talking about. When we gap up overnight over that, and that was yesterday on earnings, but it's continued with follow through. Microsoft, we might be pulling back a little bit here, but I had a lot of exposure, as you can see here. I trimmed it. I was sitting on a lot more shares, but some of these are long-term holdings, so I'm okay with that. CRM blasted. I kind of missed out on that, but I'm a little less bullish all around. Okta, similarly, that thing launched, and there was a lot of earnings, so I don't tend to play earnings unless it's in the long-term account or I have like a multi-leg option strategy. So not in a lot of those particular names. I was in Path yesterday, and but I have leaps, very long dated 2-year leaps on that, so it's not something I'm playing earnings on, so to speak, and IV is not getting crushed for me. So anyway, my simple read on the software situation is that the market came into the year worried about AI, that it would just, worried about software because of AI, that AI would destroy software margins and pricing power. But today the market is saying that's probably not right. I mean, I think that actually started happening a few days ago, probably when we broke out of this inverse head and shoulders right here. I mean, you got this W going on. I started getting in around here in a lot of positions, not on IGV, but individual names. But anyway, so yeah, I think the market's telling us that based on earnings, this is not true. And so let's check out some of the semis in AI. So Palantir ripped today too. I think that's shorts unwinding, to be honest. I had a few puts, call spreads, and I closed those. A few naked leaps, closed those as well. So I'm out of this name for the time being. SMH itself, SMY, I think we're starting to get a little toppy. I don't want to call it top, but I see this bearish divergence on the RSI even more here, and this was your market leader. So to me, that's why I started hedging on SPY. I'm also hedged on SMH via SOX. That's MSOX. So I've been starting to build up a position here. I'm down quite a bit, but I've actually been playing every pop on this. This is starting to turn into my long-term hedge, again, just because of the base effects. If you don't know what that is, essentially the smaller the number, the smaller percentage is going to make a difference. So on the way down, when these things are totally bottom out, the leverage can start to help you on an asymmetric upside. I could do a video on that if you guys want, just put it in the comments. But make sure you're using your fundamentals, your quantitative methodologies to get into some of these plays and what's the right instrument to carry out your thesis, especially for capital efficiency. But anyway, so yeah, semis, SMH, however, NVIDIA, I talked about this in yesterday's video. This is one of those things, NVIDIA long, SMH short. If you want to do a nice pair trades like that, or maybe even just a factor isolation where you're thinking NVIDIA's underperformed and stocks have overperformed. So that's kind of what's going on here. I closed my NVIDIAs today, but in another portfolio that I have, you can see I've actually sold a few. Actually, I sold 2 cash secured puts on that. So those are doing real well. I'm feeling good about this because I think I sold them for the 200 put. If I got assigned at 200, I got 200 shares of NVIDIA at 200, I think I'll be okay, particularly in this account. That's what this account's for. It's just savings and then CSPs. And when I get assigned, I distribute them to some of my other accounts. So let's go back to this bigger risk on account here. Actually, this is a composite account. It has risk on, long-term holdings, and some income. Whereas I have some other accounts that are just like this is just income. This is just long-term holding. But I'm not going to do a full portfolio review. If you guys want to see that sometime, maybe I'll do it. Back to the sectors here. So NVIDIA and, like I said, Palantir. So that's the AI and semis for me. And the overall actual sector check, XLK is blasting, but that should be no surprise based on the holdings we were just talking about. XLF, holding up. We're consolidating here. I've been buying some single names in XLF because I think it's underperformed a bit. And this nice little channel here is looking like it wants to break out to me. But anybody's game here. This might be one of those. This wouldn't be a terrible straddle in my opinion, especially with volatility down so low. Maybe that's trade for Monday. XLV healthcare was down, but again, we're not doing so bad. It needed to pull back a little bit here, and it's an inner bar. So take what you will from that. Discretionary. We're hitting some resistance up there. I'm not really playing that. XLC, actually not looking too dissimilar. Or did we just cover XLC? XLC, there we go. I did XLK by accident. Yeah, I mean, XLC is down about 0.75, 75 basis. So, nothing, no play there. XLE, we kind of covered that with USO. Again, I'm not really playing this. We had quite a run, but it is consolidating this upper range. I don't think all of the oil issues are going to be solved in the near term. This may just be a pullback here. XLI, But again, that's for a longer video. We could do some macro, maybe over the weekend. We could do a macro. XLP, same thing, just kind of consolidating over the last few weeks. I have some individual names in XLP, and I think it's, it's not playing it as a sector. I think you need to look at the fundamentals of some of these companies and weigh that against sentiment. So anyway, I'm not going to go through all of the S&P sectors, although I guess I could actually use down. Looks like we might dump through, but could be a nice little CSP down at 42 if you're into that kind of thing. I don't need it in my portfolio. XLR looks like it wants to break, XLRE looks like it kind of wants to break out. I'm in my income portfolio on IYRI. That's not, actually I'm holding it in this. It's down a little bit, but it pays great distributions. So yeah, it's not really a defensive market. The market is not buying utilities, staples, real estate, or healthcare today. It's buying technology, software, mega cap, AI, and select financials. So that's the character of the tape. So let's check out some of those mega caps. So Microsoft, oh my goodness, 3.7. I had a lot, like I said, a lot of deltas on today. I closed most of my calls. Actually, in this other portfolio, I think I still have, I was actually rocking about 150 shares of MSFU, which is always a nice way to play some of this if you're constrained in capital or in different accounts where you want to be able to add extra, essentially in after hours and treat it somewhat like an option in the sense that it's leveraged, and add to it as you see the delta increasing, if that makes sense, So this was a particular play for me. I closed out because it met my goals, but I still have one long dated option on that. But we are facing a little resistance here. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of chilled for a bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. So I've actually kept that open. I already did NVIDIA for you. NVIDIA's looking pretty good in my opinion here, but I'm not aiming for the fence on this. Apple, how are we doing? Down quarter. It's kind of, that's another little sign to me that some of my hedges might be making sense now. What we got? Goog, just kind of consolidating up there, but I think most of the upside for this year was already there, but maybe we'll hit 400 at some point. Could be some multi-leg option strategies on that, but I'm not eyeing it for an entry today. Meta, I was in heavy. I think I still have quite a bit on this account. I've got 115 shares on that, and I've sold some cash secured puts on it as well in a different account. But this is looking great to me. I'm not going to get in over my skis. I think it's going to take a few months to play out for sure, but I like Meta in the long term. So that's why these are shares. I don't actually have any call options on it. And Tesla, actually, I'm not playing it, but I love these kind of manipulation wicks. That's on the daily. So that feels good to me, but I'm not sure that it's going to have a significant run if the market doesn't go along with it, to be honest. So the mega cap story is not everything is ripping, but Microsoft really was, and Meta was yesterday. Meta was like a huge day yesterday. If you're holding a lot of shares, a move like this on a company of this size is actually pretty significant. It was the biggest one in quite a few weeks. So and then let's look at some crypto here. I've been DCAing, and this actually is not a bad place for me personally. It's a little cloudy in the near term, but if some of this legislation passes, I think it could be great. But there's some liquidations that happened the last 2 nights ago, and then today we heard that they were taking Iran's crypto holdings, I believe was the news. I didn't read too much into it, but either way, I think there's some foolery going on for sure in the crypto markets, and it's not a bad place for me to personally get in, particularly using some instruments like BTCI that pays you out. Like, for example, this is down $2,500. I actually made almost close to that in dividends already. Well, distributions, not really dividend. Distributions since I bought this, so it kind of evened out. So I love these things on the way down to slightly up, and then I'm also building at the same time a position in some options. I've got BitX options, bought a few today, bought a few a while ago. But again, this is not investment advice. Do whatever you want. But that's how I'm looking at this at the moment. And then we talked about this yesterday. Hood. Oh my goodness. I should not have. I had. We were talking about it. I had like 10 contracts on this. Closed them all out by now. I closed a bunch yesterday on that big move. Left 2 runners, and then closed them out today. I think if we pull back to the 80 strike, I'll probably start getting in. In fact, I've already put an order in here. I did the math roughly. If I'm get 12.50 on the 21st August, $80 call is looking great to me. I'd take that trade again and again there. We haven't gotten the market on close yet down here. Yeah, what else do we got here? So that was Hood. Yeah, so again, I'm not going to go into trade architecture today, but please comment if you want to see that. The reason I was able to hit these Hood trades and the now trades is because I architect these things out way in advance of taking the trades. Yeah, so like let's switch over to actually some of my holdings because I closed a lot of stuff today. Adobe, oh, he's a rippin'. I don't know if I have anything still open in Adobe. Yeah, I got a vertical from a while ago that's a little bit underwater, but it recovered today. But I did close a bunch of other Adobe. Those are call spreads. Because when it's chopping around down here, I buy some long dated call spreads, generally based on, some other factors for sure. This isn't just like a technical situation. Although if I was going to do it on technicals, that looks pretty good to me. So yeah, Adobe, I closed some out. Applied, believe it or not, I had hundreds of shares. I closed them all today. You do see a loss on the day. It doesn't show you my total P&L on this. But after a climb like this, breaking out, I was good. So I'm going to re-enter. I sold some cash secured puts on it down to the 35. So if we come back down to this, oops, I typed in CSP. If we come back down to the 35 here, I'm willing to buy another 100 shares and start getting back in that way. Yeah. Oh, so Conagra Brands, I am accumulating a huge position here. I've got 235 shares here, but I have it in like a few different accounts. They pay you a pretty good distribution. The dividend is 7.57 on something that I think is going to recover. Again, I'm not going to get into proprietary means of how I've ascertained that outlook, but I'm willing to get paid to wait on that one. What else do we got? We've got ETH, same thing as Bitcoin. Hood, like we just talked about. KWeb, same thing. I'm really liking this floor here, and I'm particularly liking it for a few reasons. Actually, you know what, guys? It's Friday. We're up huge today, mostly because of Now and Microsoft. So I'm not going to go through how I ascertained these trades again, but just show you some of them that I was watching today. Path, that's looking wonderful to me. PFE, similar to Conagra. Dividend while I'm waiting for my thesis to play out. Who else do we have? We got Rigetti. Loving it. They're consolidating above the 200-day moving average after a pump up on it. A little under on these, but I got into this verse using a cash secured put, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. Here's the market on close down here, guys. By the way, I don't know if you could see that. 1 billion to the sell side. It was like 1.8 billion to the sell side yesterday, and a little bit more than that the other day. But whoa, actually, I looked on my second screen. Microsoft is having a nice close of the day pumper here. Oh my, that's nice. Let me look at this other account here and see what's going on, because I closed MSFU already and is now rocking and rolling. I still have Now L open. I think there's a long upside there, plus one contract on Now. Yeah, everything's looking pretty good there. I still have an Adobe call open here in vertical. I don't actually want to hold this over the weekend, so I'm going to see if I can get out of this at the moment. Yep, we're closed out on that. That's feeling good to me. Free up some capital. Because the other thing I want to show you, maybe this is a better portfolio to show you the close on, because the other one, as I showed you, again, I'm not going to do a portfolio review, much bigger catalog because I have long-term holdings consolidated with my options portfolio, and in this account it's almost entirely options and then some very small cap long-term holdings, just to park some cash into some theses I have. So yeah, where were we? Path looking good. after earnings, they came right back up after a dump, so that's feeling pretty good to me. And they had good earnings. PFE, it's starting to move a little bit. Serve, this is the robots. If you live in Los Angeles, you have seen them everywhere. It's a great story for me. SMR, how are we doing on SMR today? Yeah, it's looking pretty good. We could actually check out the gamma on that. While that's loading, we'll get back to the portfolio here. We got SoFi. It's what I like to see. Okay, so SMR, this is probably one of the reasons I have been selling so many cash secured puts on that, is because it's kind of pinned. This market's got to prove something, or SMR has to prove something to the market rather. What else we got? We got TMF, and so I'm rushing today. If you guys want me to do a full portfolio and thesis review, just let me know. I'll do it over the weekend, but I need some real comments to do that. TMF's looking pretty good. TLT might be a cleaner expression for everybody to understand it. Let's go to the 4 hour here so you can see it. Oh yeah, we're back above that. So that's looking like a real Wyckoff wick on like a monthly, maybe even on a weekly. Yeah, that's looking pretty good to me. I think we're coming back up to like 87 or 90. What do we got? We got Uber here. Uber, I have cash secured puts on in a different portfolio, and that's probably getting hit right at the moment. But over here, we were up on the day, and now we're back down. But that's all right. I wouldn't mind getting assigned shares down there. And we're almost to the end here. XRP, that's a long-term speculative based on legislation changing. XPEV, this is a throwaway. It looks like I'm bleeding money on this, but I'm not. It was a spread, and I closed a bunch of legs and then just let these be runners just in case. And Xylem, long-term thesis here. These are like 2-year leaps, way underwater, but started as a spread and have closed them. All right, guys. And then the last thing, because I actually want to go for the close in the last 2 minutes to manage some positions I have to. I think I mentioned this before. I saw that divergence. I bought myself a protection out 140 days because VIX is low. We got a weekend. I think we're probably, all things considered, going to pump up to 76. 760, something like that before we come back down, if we come back down. And if we don't come back down, I have a stop loss for that. But I need to protect my portfolio, and I have a spread similarly on SPY and some smaller long-term holding portfolios. Just 20 points there. Nice 3-to-1 reward to risk. And that's about it, guys. So comment down what you'd like to see. I rushed through it because I usually don't do these at close the market, but I got something after the market today. But comment what you like to see, what you like to hear, what you disliked, what you did like, all that good stuff. Happy managing your portfolio.